How's it going, everybody? I know it's been an extremely hot minute since the last upload, but we are back, and I felt the perfect video to get back into it is a power rankings at the lockout. The lockout started today, and if some of you are just kind of really confused about the lockout, I don't know all the details myself, but I know that it's as serious as say Aaron Judge gets married, Brian Cashman, if he comes to that wedding, he is in big trouble if he gets caught. Serious consequences. So MLB 2022 power rankings. At the time of this lockout, obviously my official power rankings every year come out in March, but I do enjoy power rankings throughout the season and at random times, so I felt the lockout was a perfect time to make power rankings because things are not going to change for likely multiple months here, and all I care about is just praying that we get this season started on time. This is obviously going to be a really weird offseason to look back on, guys, because we saw I was literally refreshing my feed every 10 minutes that I had my phone on me just to see with the news going on, wildfire the last 4 days in the MLB with the signings and stuff, and now absolutely nothing for this whole Christmas time and probably beyond. Yeah, these are 2022 power rankings, so it's not based off exactly who they have right now. It's just projecting what they may do when free agency returns, trades get back on going. It's just predicting their 2022 record based on anything I could use to predict it. Coming in at number one in these power rankings is the Los Angeles Dodgers still. Now, I'm just so glad that the Dodgers lost Scherzer, Seager, and Kershaw is a free agent. So is Jansen. They retained Chris Taylor. They re-signed him last night. Another loss is Corey Knebel, who signed with the Phillies yesterday. And so those are three big losses to still put them at one. But guys, I don't think you understand how much they were number one by last year. It took an all-time upset by the Braves, an amazing upset by the Braves to win that NLCS last year. Just a freaking month ago. I don't know why I always say last year too quickly. I used to make fun of other people for saying last year, when it's literally still November, now December of the season that just happened. But now I'm just naturally saying it, so I guess it's time to lay off. You could say either last year or this year based on the 2021 MLB season right now. But the Dodgers do have some positive things going for them despite the losses. The losses in the playoffs and the free agent losses. We'll have to see what happens with Kershaw and Jansen. Obviously, Kershaw is the more notable one. But Bellinger is going to be such a big addition. You guys got to realize that no other team had to deal with an everyday player besides maybe the Brewers with Jackie Bradley Jr. that was so bad that was in the lineup every day just holding them back. That is a huge addition. Even if Bellinger just becomes an 800 OPS, 110 WRC plus player, even if he's not at all a star again, it's just going to be a big upgrade for them if he's anything decent or better. And then there's the Trevor Bauer situation, guys. Trevor Bauer, if he plays for the Dodgers, that's a huge upgrade. And if he doesn't play for the Dodgers, they're going to trade him probably. Hopefully they don't just do a Texans Deshaun Watson and just sit him there and just literally just have nothing to do with anything and just waste him. But they could trade him and get value. I mean, Trevor Bauer's trade value is honestly really high right now. Obviously not pitching from the situation, and the situation itself might drag it down just a tad. But the reality is that Bauer was Cy Young in 2020 and was really good in 2021 before he had his incident. Number two, now it's really tough. I still don't hesitate much at all to put the Dodgers at number one, even though I'm just glad that I don't really consider them much of a super team anymore. They've still got great players all over the place, but it's not some sort of historic. It's by no means a problem for baseball. It's not a Dodgers problem anymore, because that's really what it felt like in 2021. It's just stunning that they didn't win the World Series. I know that part of that was injuries to Kershaw, Turner, Muncy, and even Scherzer had to miss a start for NLCS Game 6. So those were reasons that they didn't win. But roster-wise, they were by so much the best last year, and I'm just so glad that that's gone. But that being said, I still easily expect them to win 100-plus games. Number two, I'm going with the Atlanta Braves. They just won the World Series. I feel like it's really hard to pick a number two team right now, but it is the Braves. The Braves lost stinking all of that great outfield. I mean, they're retaining Duvall, I'm pretty sure at least. But Peterson, Rosario, and Soler, I mean, that's a big loss. I mean, I expect them to probably retain maybe one of them, but that's just crazy. Acuna is a big addition, though. Acuna makes up for almost all of that, just getting him back. And Freeman, they'll have no problem getting him back, I don't think. So, yeah, Braves, second best team in baseball. They won the World Series. We'll put them above this other cluster of teams. Number 3. Now, this team is really hard to rank right now, but I'm going with the New York Mets. The New York Mets, third best team in baseball for a team that just went below 500. I mean, you got Mark Canha, Starling Marte, Eduardo Escobar, and obviously Max Scherzer, to a team that is going to get more value out of DeGrom next year than they did this past year in all likelihood, and you're going to get a better version of Francisco Lindor. Now, losing Marcus Stroman is definitely a hit. I fully understand that. Losing Marcus Stroman is a hit. He had a 3 ERA for you guys last year. So Scherzer over the 2021 Stroman is probably a very slight upgrade, as sad as that is to say, which makes it questionable to put them at 3, but I'm still doing it. They're just talent all around that field. I don't think you guys know how big of an addition Mark Canha, Starling Marte, and Eduardo Escobar is. And Javi Baez is also lost. Javi Baez was a really good guy for 2 months for those New York Mets. This team just still has just 97 win vibes written all over it, I feel like. Number 4, we're going with the Tampa Bay Rays as your top American League team. They were the 1 seed for 2 consecutive years, made the World Series once, lost in 4 in the ALDS in shocking fashion in this October, which was crazy. They were up 1-0 as the Red Sox. They were the 1 seed, and then to just lose 3 straight, I think people underrate how crazy that was. But I'm sick and tired of ranking the Rays lower than they actually perform, so I'm going to do it. I do not like that starting rotation right now. They better not trade Glass now. That's just a rumor, and I don't even think it's because there's been discussion about it. It's just like a Rays thing to do. But I mean, they're not losing much. They're only losing Nelson Cruz, who wasn't great in his time in Tampa Bay, to free agency. And yeah, they obviously have Franco locked up for so long. Franco and Rosarena are going to be those energy guys. I'm excited. Well, not excited because, I'm a Yankees fan, but Tampa Bay is going to be around. Number 5, a team that I'm just high on. I can't quite put them higher than this just because they did only win 93 games in a weak division this past season. That's the Chicago White Sox. But I didn't know Carlos Rodon was a free agent. Rodon, I guess. So that's definitely a hit. But the Chicago White Sox, great long relief. They have, late relief. They have Graveman now. They have just a bunch of really good players all around that lineup. And they have Giolito, and they have Lynn. And you never know, maybe Dallas Keuchel has another solid season or 2 in him. Don't forget, he had a 1.99 ERA in the short in 2020. The White Sox are definitely contenders in the American League next year and pretty clear best team, or clear favorite in the American League Central. Number 6 on this list. All right, guys, so believe it or not, in my opinion, the best team in the American League from 2021 didn't even make the playoffs. That's the Toronto Blue Jays, a team that just was so stardom all over the place. Best expected win-loss from 2021 in the American League East, in the American League in general. And they're taking some hits. This team lost Robbie Ray. This team lost Marcus Semien. That's huge. That's why they're at 6. If the Blue Jays didn't lose those guys, which it is the Toronto Blue Jays that gets this 6th spot, then I'm talking the Blue Jays have a good shot at that number 2 spot if they didn't lose those guys, because they got Kevin Gausman to replace Robbie Ray, even though anything like Ray's 2020, which was his 2021, I keep forgetting it's not 2020, to be honest. Even though I keep saying how it's still 2021, it's still pretty natural for me to refer to the current year as 2020. But Gausman is a good pitcher. That's just... And then you have Springer for a full year now. He was great, but in such limited time last year. And number 7, I have the New York Yankees. The Yankees are a team to debate. In my opinion, they're still a clear top 10 team. There's just too much talent, but clear top 10 team isn't quite what they're aiming for. Whatever happened, 2018, 2019, and then going into 2020, going into 2021, you're seen as easily top five, usually top three team in baseball. At times, they've seemed like the best team in baseball. I mean, going into 2020, I mean, it was clear top two between the Yankees and Dodgers. That was people's rankings. And then the Dodgers go have best record, win the World Series. Yankees go 33 and 27, losing the ALDS, then lose the wild card the next year. Man, what has happened? Um, but yeah, Yankees are number 7 in my opinion. I don't know. I can't explain what happened this past week with not getting anybody at all. I don't understand it. Like, I'm just so puzzled because I know they have money. I know that they could make moves. But at the same time, realistically, am I smarter than the GM? No. It just doesn't make sense to me. Number 8, I have the Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers did not have a great finish to the year in September, but other than that, the Brewers had a great vast majority of the season. They finished 95 and 67, really disappointing NLDS against the Braves, losing in 4. So their September and October drags them down to 8, as opposed to like the number 4, number 5 team that they were in baseball for most of the 2021 season. They're bringing back a really similar team, and like I mentioned earlier in this video, Jackie Bradley Jr. really hurt them, and they traded away Bradley Jr. last night, added the solid Hunter Renfroe. But realistically, you can't quite expect the same from all of Burns, Woodruff, and Peralta. You just can't. I'm excited to see what happens with Christian Yelich, man, but in these rankings, could I value him very much? Not really. Maybe like a 2.5 WAR guy. Coming in at number 9 on my list, and still winning the American League West, that will be your Houston Astros, your 2021 American League champs. A little low seeming, maybe, but guess what? I value Carlos Correa. He ain't coming back to Houston. It really doesn't look like that. I mean, just the whole vibe of the Astros has a whole way worse feel without Carlos Correa. He's such a leader. And listen, this team did make the World Series. I get it. And were they the best team in the American League? Yeah, I think they earned it. But guess what? The reality of the situation is that this was nowhere near the level of team that they were in 2017, 18, and 19 when they won more than 100 games each year between those 3 seasons. I mean, you're still down Springer, Cole, and now Correa. You're getting back Verlander, which is definitely something to be excited about. I get it, but he's gonna be 39. Just really interesting. I can't value that too much, even though I do see it as a solid starter acquisition. Astros are still going to be a good team. I just don't think they're still going to be a great team. Number 10, San Diego Padres. So this is a really interesting team because, I mean, listen, they weren't devastated by health. They were not. And they went 80 and 82. Or 79 and 83, I think it was. But it's just so bizarre that they actually, in real life, went below 500. A team that we're just, casually ranking, maybe like 3rd best team in baseball throughout the whole first half. The season was going nice and fine, just like 2020 went just fine for the Padres. And then they go below 500. But I'm going to put them at 10. I think they were clearly exposed to not being a great team. Clearly, in that whole entire second half collapse. But there's just so much talent, and having Darvish and Snell is still a real thing that exists for them. Tatis and Machado, Cronenworth of Jake, and just good players all over the place. Number 11, I'm going to go with the Boston Red Sox. Now, I had the Boston Red Sox at 13 initially, but then I was like, yo, they made the ALCS, and they're not even losing too much. 13 is just kind of like unjustifiably low, if you will. So I'll go with 11 for the Red Sox. I just don't think they're a great team, but they did just, take down a 1 seed in 4. Yes, they needed 2 consecutive walk-offs to do it, but they're a good team. Just so much mashing to be done. And then they have Sale, they have Evaldi, and now they have Paxton in that rotation. And Rich Hill, I know he's so old, but he's consistently been good. Like, people don't realize what Rich Hill has been, so maybe he could be an average guy for them. They did lose Eduardo Rodriguez, but he had an unlucky year this past year, so he didn't really help them much. And why would you get Michael Wacha? I mean, you're just asking for your team to allow more runs, honestly. Number 12, I'm going with the St. Louis Cardinals, a team who had just a wonderful, wonderful second half of the year. To make the playoffs, they had that insane winning streak. Dang, I feel like Brewers 8, Cardinals 12. I feel like that might be a little too far apart for those two teams. I don't know. But the Brewers both of those teams really are going to run it back with very similar teams. The Brewers finished 5 games above the Cardinals this past year, but the Cardinals are the team that had a much better second half of the year. But the Cardinals, I just see them as NL Central contenders, wild card contenders, 50-50 playoff team. Just not much to say, honestly. Number 13, I have my favorite team from the National League, the San Francisco Giants. So the Giants, I'm very, very scared for what's going to happen to the Giants. It just stinks because with this core, 2021 was obviously the chance. Like, we thought maybe 2021 would be the chance for the Phoenix Suns of the NBA, but that depended on if they re-signed Chris Paul or not. And they did re-sign Chris Paul, and now they're on a 17-game winning streak, and they're primed to go to the finals in 2022. But here's the thing with the San Francisco Giants. There's just no way that all those players are going to perform like they did. And they could get to the playoffs. They could be a wild card. The Giants, it'll be an even year. They could come up from the wild card, win the World Series. But that's just like so far-fetched. There's just no way that Crawford, Belt, Longoria, and maybe even the great Logan Webb can do exactly what they did this past year. And they lost Kevin Gausman. Buster Posey was arguably their best player. He was right up there with the best players on the Giants this year. He retired. So I honestly believe that the Giants just simply have the outlook of a slightly above average team heading into 2022. As crazy as it is to say for a team who won 107 games. I mean, I think most people realize this, but I just felt it so much that this NLDS exit, especially in the fashion that it happened by 1 in Game 5 at home, check swing call, it just hurt so bad against the Dodgers. Just because that was their chance. There is no great chance to come back next year. Number 14, we go in LA Angels. I happen to be wearing Angels hat in this vid. Ohtani, I think he could do almost the same thing, and I think that's somewhat realistic considering the fact that he fell off late in the year from a hitting perspective. They hit literally Ohtani they already had Ohtani. They get Rendon and Trout pretty much fully added to what was a not good but not far below average team. They were just a tad below average this past year. Angels should be pretty good. Not gonna lie, Angels Astros could be AL West competition next year. And they got Noah Syndergaard. I wish the best for Noah Syndergaard. Number 15, that would be the Seattle Mariners. So maybe we could have somewhat of a 3-team thing between the Mariners, Angels, and Astros in the AL West. Very interesting. So the Mariners, some people probably want them higher, but you guys know me. I'm never too high on the Mariners all of 2021, and that remains the case, I guess. But listen, my pre-2022 power rankings that were made in September this past year of 2021, I had the Mariners at 18. They're up to 15, though, because they got Adam Frazier, who's just slightly above average, and Robbie Ray. That is a big key. He had a Cy Young year pitching in the American League East. Now he heads into Seattle. He's going to do great things for them. Though it's no guarantee because 2021 was his first really good year since 2017. The Mariners went 90-72, and I have them taking definitely a step back record-wise. The thing is that this Mariners team was kind of proven to be not so great by literally losing 2 out of 3 at home to a very out of it and unhealthy Angels team that last weekend, the regular season with their season on the line, just unreal. And their horrible run differential all year. They were, in reality, probably about an average team in the year of 2021, at best. 2022, I see them being a legitimate average to slightly above average team. If your team hasn't gotten ranked yet, that will have to wait, but it'll wait very, very shortly. Part 2 is coming out very soon, in a day or two. So make sure you smash that like button. We will see you next time. Get in the comments. Have fun debating baseball, even though baseball doesn't even really exist right now. If you go on the MLB app, look at 2021 stats, like literally the players' faces and pictures will literally just be black. Ghost face, like not them, because that's the world we live in right now. We are in the middle of a lockout. MLB has gone dark. Just interesting stuff. But you know what else is interesting? My channel. And I'm talking about interesting in such a good way. Player rankings are going to start soon on here, so make sure you don't forget to come back.